Welcome back, guys. In this video, we're going to be talking about methods. Okay, Java method, which is basically a code block that you can run whenever you call it. You can pass in various type of data, various parameters, and whatnot. Methods are also known as functions. So in different programming languages, they call it different things. So methods, functions, they're basically the same thing. And why we have methods is because if we want to reuse a code, we just define it one time and we want to use it at as many time as you want. So using it via a method, it's easier to do that. So without further ado, let's just get on this. Let's go right click, class, create a class. I'm just going to call it methods, right? And public static void main. So just so you guys are aware, right? This thing right here, this is also a method, public static void main. This is also a method inside this class called methods. Okay. So yeah, let me just actually refactor this. I'm just going to say it my methods. Right, so you guys can finish. So a little off topic, if you guys saw that, right click and then refactor. Refactor is if I want to change the name, so you have to do refactor and then rename. Okay, this will, if I want to move things from one place to another place, you want to do refactoring, that'll change up everything automatically. So again, that said, this class is called my methods. Inside this class, we have this method called the main method. This is the thing we need in order to run anything. Okay. So how does this work? Right. So generally what we have been doing is, everything in the main method, we just basically go over here and you could say, this is my main method, something like that, right? And generally what we do, we just go over here and just right click and run and Java application, and then this is my main method, right? This is the thing where we run everything from. Now we also have these classes and everything, right? So how do we work with that? So few things, right? Few things that we're going to talk about. So let's say I define an integer, right? Let's say I have int a, right, equals 2, right? And then in here, let's say I have something called int b, right? Let's say equals 5. Now, if I want to print out this int b, the only thing I have to do is just put in b over here, right? And that'll just work. If I was to run this thing, this will print out this, and this will print out 5, right? So right click, there you go. This is my main method, and I have 5 in there. Now, if I want to print this a in there, right? If I was to just change this b to an a, see, it gives me the error already. This cannot make a static reference to the non-static field. And then it gives you 3 fixes and change a to static and all those different things, right? So one other thing that we can do, let's say if we click on this static, so just keep an eye out on number 5. So if we hover over, click on this, it says static int a2. Now this is fine because we use that specific keyword static in there. So let's go and run this thing, and then it just gives me 2 because that's what the value of a is, right? So let's go over few things so you guys actually understand this and what this thing means, right? So static, this specific keyword static, what that means is basically it is saying that the method, right, this thing belongs to my method, or this is what we also call You could call it like a global variable to some extent, right? And in this int b, this belongs to the main method, right? This a right here, it belongs to the global variable. Now, another way, if we don't want to put static in there and we still want to use it, one way we can do is we can create an object of my method, right? We're going to go into object creation later on as well. But if we do this, my methods, right? Then let's say my methods, and we can say my my methods in main, something like that, right? Okay, my methods. So this is the my method. I'm saying my method right here, which is basically this. I just created this object. My methods in main method equals new, right? And we can say my method. There you go. So right now, because I created this, what I can do over here, instead of a, I can just say my, right? That whole thing showed up there, which is this name, right? And I can say dot, and I can have a, right? This would also print this out, that just creating an object. Here, let me just this thing again. There you go. It just printed it out, so this is completely okay. So let me just change this number so you guys can see actually this is actually working. So let's say put 10. Run Java application, and you see this works, right? But again, we have to write so many different words, like so we have to create an object and create an object of this. We have to do so many different things just for printing out this one statement, right? Which is obviously a lot of work. So we are lazy, so we don't want to do that. So one of the best way to do this thing, we can just use the word static, and that basically will give us access to the specific variable anywhere in this specific class. Okay, anywhere in this specific class. So if I want to do s out, let me just clear this console. S out, and I can just have the word a in there, just a, and that will just print that value right there. Okay, there you go. It printed it out. Right now, I also talked about the method, right? We want to print out a method. So how we can print out a method, or how this method works in general, is we can create a method this way. We can just call it static void, let's say cars, right? You can just say that, doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want. And in here, we can have, let's say, s out, and you can just say my car, right? So this thing right now, this itself method, this is a method named cars, okay, or lowercase cars, method named cars, okay? This is sitting outside of the main method, okay? This is sitting outside of the main method, which is this thing right here, main method. So line 8 through 14, that's the main method that we have. Okay, let me just close up this console real quick. That's the main method that we have. In here, this is a new method that we created. Now, I can use the word public in there as well. It really doesn't matter. Again, we're going to go over all these terminologies later on, but it really doesn't matter. I can also have, public static void cars. I can also have, static public void cars. It's just give me the same result. It doesn't matter. But standard practice, you just use public static. But I don't even need the public. I'll just take that out. So right now, this is here, right? Generally, whenever we have a print statement, it prints out whatever is there. Now, right here, my car, right? My car, that's basically what I'm printing out in cars. right? I can just say cars method, right? In cars method. So this is what I want to print out, right? If I want to run this thing, see, it didn't really print anything, right? It didn't print what we wanted to do. It only printed whatever is here, right? It only says this is my main method, which is right here, and then this is 10, which is also part of this thing right here. Now, if I want to print this cars method, how do I do that, right? And by the way, this void basically means it doesn't have a return value, right? It doesn't have a return value. I'm not saying that static string or integer or anything like that. I don't have anything. So I don't need a return statement. I'm just saying void. So I don't want it to return anything. We will learn about this return type. As you can see right there, it says return type. So we'll learn about this return type later on as well. So if I want to call this thing, what I have to do, let's say I go over here and I just call it cars method. See, it just shows up there as soon as I type it in, and it says my method, right? Cars method void my method. So it is basically, the reason it says my method is because it is inside of this class, my methods. Inside that, it has car methods. That's why it showed up. Right now, if I was to run this thing, see, it says my car. So whatever I do here, it will automatically capture that. So right now, if I was to, minimize all this thing, right, just for lack of spacing, I can have this thing sitting somewhere else. I can just call this one thing. It's less clutter. I don't have to see so many different things in there, right? I just make whatever change I want to do over here, and then it just prints out over here. Okay, and I can have more method. I can have as many method as I want, right? Static, let's say void, and I can have, let's say, I don't know, let's say house type, right? I can have whatever, and I can type in here. I have a mansion, it's whatever. Cars method my car, and then I can call this house type. Again, this is house type method right there, because I have this thing already. So I can run this, and it says right there, oh, not a mention. I typed it wrong. MENSION, I think. Mention, MENSION, yeah. I cannot type today, so forgive me. So anyways, there you go, mention, right? My car, mention. I can say my car is, I have, I don't know, BMW, I have a BMW, and you could say I have a mansion, whatever you want to say. It doesn't really matter. You can even have formulas in there. It doesn't really matter what you have in there. If I put in more stuff over here, let's say I put S out, I say, 5 times 6, right? It'll do that calculation as well. So right now I have a BMW, then it'll give me 30, then I have a mention. Again, because of this, right? I can just go over there, I can run it. There you go. Right? Everything shows up there. And that's basically why you would be creating a method. You can change it in this one place. I don't really have to touch any of this, right? I can do whatever I want to do in this specific method. I can go over here. I can just work on this, and this thing will automatically get affected by that. I don't have to go to thousands of different places to do that. Yeah, so basically how you call a method is just the name of the method, which is this thing, right? And then you have this. You just have to have that brackets in there, or the parentheses, you could say. Parentheses, and obviously you have to close it out, the semicolon. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I know these videos are somewhat of a long one, and I can call this, actually, before I go, and I can call this thing as many times as I want, right? I can say house type here again, and I can say house type here again, And I can say cars method here again. It'll just be printing it out multiple times, right? If I just run this, run it, you see, right there. I have a BMW 30, I have a mention, I have a mention, I have a mention, I have a BMW, and then 30 again. It's because that was just part of this cars method. So I can print out as I can do this thing as many times as I need to. I can create as many methods as I need to as well. Yeah, with that said, I'll stop the recording right now on this. And thank you so much, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button and comment. If you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.